Hey everyone, thanks so much for being here. This is our final episode of our AI series. I'm so excited to be here because this is the culmination of several months of webinars, and I get to introduce three of my colleagues and really dig in here. So let's jump in. I've got John Murcott, our head of strategy and product. John, thanks for being here. John's going to talk from his past a lot about automation today. And John, I know you got a lot of background in automation as well as just SaaS, many years of SaaS. So thanks for being here. I've got Megan Winter here. Megan is a customer success director, and she works with some of our biggest customers from B2C and B2B. She is working really hard to get some of this AI live with our customers. And I know, Megan, I'm excited to hear you talk today. I know we're in the process of going live with several customers. We've got calendars.com live, Pacific Plumbing stuff. And I know you work with a lot of our bigger customers too. So thanks for being here. And we've got Kyle Mitzner. Kyle runs our customer success. So really a big part of making sure all of our customers are successful. I mean, both short-term and long-term, right? I mean, short-term is let's get live, right? Let's get the implementation, but also let's long-term, figure out, how does this software work best? How do we best apply it? And, Kyle works across all of our customers. So I just wanted to show a quick slide of some of the customers we're working with. At some level, we're working on AI projects. Some of the AI we're going to talk about here across all of these customers. So awesome. So thanks, guys, for being here. Let's jump in. As a reminder, this is the sixth webinar in this series, and we've done a lot of work to talk about each of these components. This is just a real quick review of the three main buckets we have when we talk about AI. We have what we call smart search. That's a lot of our intent-based or concept-based searching, visual search, image search. That's bucket number one. The second bucket is our GenAI stuff, where we're generating new content. We call that smart response. That's really exciting. And the third piece is what we call smart agents. You may have heard it called agentic or AI. So those are our three main buckets. But today, we are culminating this series with talking about our actual customer use cases, right? Not just the technology, but how are we applying that technology? And more importantly to you, how are customers seeing the value of it and how are they getting live with it? And by the way, at the very end, we actually talk about a virtual summit that we're doing in just under a month where we'll actually have a number of our customers. So I feel like that's actually going to be an incredible culmination of all this work where we'll actually have customers on our virtual summit speaking about this. But today we've got the balance of these 30 minutes to talk about these three main buckets. We're going to talk about search relevance, search experiences, and automation. Again, those three buckets we just looked at. And just a little bit deeper, these are the main topics to really wrap your head around, right? When you're thinking about search relevance and how AI is being applied to search relevance, right? Is it improving the search, right? Is it expanding the ability to search across perhaps images, not just text, right? That's search relevance. Customer engagement, right? Once you actually engage with the search bar itself, what are you able to do with those search results? That's a really exciting conversation to have. And then the automation, which is a bit different because we're talking about kind of two big pieces, and John will get to this at the end. You're talking about the fact that this is something going off and doing something for you, the autonomous or the agency component of agentic, right? And we're also talking about the fact that this could be not only in the front end for the customer experience, but also the back end, so the merchandising experience. So all very exciting. So let's jump in. We're going to start with Megan. Megan's got a lot going on right now in getting some of our customers live, and she's going to share some of that insight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jeremy, for that. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I had mic issues on my previous webinar, so trying to come back strong here. But as Jeremy mentioned, I'm working directly with our customers, helping them implement with our service teams and getting these systems live, making sure that we're configuring them in the right way so that we're seeing proper results and ultimately driving revenue and driving goals, right? But it's interesting because how is each customer using it? It's a little bit different for each type of customer, B2B to B2C especially, big differences there. But then industry specific, also massive differences in how we want this experience to be for each of their customers. So I have a couple bullets on the screen here, but I kind of summarize them into things that can relate to all customers because even though they're different, they're all trying to solve the same issues, right? And it kind of goes without saying that we want to allow your site visitors to search in ways that they're comfortable with versus having to conform with current search limitations to find what they need. There's a lot of businesses I work with that are in the B2B space that maybe they have to search by part number or SKU or a specific keyword that maybe they don't have on the top of their mind, or they have to go back to a previous order form to find it or past orders. So you're making these users take more time than needed instead of allowing them to search in a way that's just comfortable for them. So we're actually giving these customers a way to search however they want to. If it's copying, pasting from their favorite Amazon site to your site, which is preferred, great, but we can handle those long tail keywords with the concept search and actually eliminate some of those zero results, which I'll get to in a second. But then also being able to allow a user to snap a picture. So a lot of our B2B clients have customers who are working on job sites, plumbing, carpentry, electrical, whatever it might be, right? You have a person who's out there on site on a job, needs to get a new water heater. Okay, great. Snap a picture. The customer wants the same one they had previously. Take a picture of it on their phone, search for it on the website, quick add to cart. It's saving that person a lot of time, getting a faster add to cart, and ultimately eliminating all the time wasted in searching for the SKU, the brand, manufacturer, all of that, moving all those hurdles. And then moving down, ultimately helping open up avenues for more creative ways to eliminate those pesky zero results pages. I know I speak for most of our customers and businesses when this topic comes up a ton, zero results. That means your customers aren't seeing any products on a page. They're not finding what they need. You don't have proper synonyms set up, and maybe you don't even have the product. So how can we change that and improve that? And what we've been able to do with a certain client is actually A/B test their concept search with using the data from people's past searches. So you'll see a little screenshot on the right where they have kind of their smart search testing, and they've actually pulled these search terms and search phrases. You'll see they're all quite long-tailed in what they're looking for, but they're using the report in the workbench that searches with poor results. And they're taking all of these long search queries and testing them with the concept search to ensure, can we get a result? Is it the right result? Are our merchandising rules still active and functioning correctly? This client has actually launched concept search, I believe it was a week ago on Tuesday, and they've seen a boost in revenue in 1 week, and there's more to go. So that is just 1 week live with concept search. And their next step is actually to kind of have a quick how-to with more of their bigger, more important customers and teach them what the new abilities are for their website. So they're pretty excited about that, and we're kind of gunning to see what else we can do with it. So big things then.
It's pretty wild that within 1 week they already saw an increase in revenue. It's pretty wild.
I know. I think they were pretty shocked by it too. We knew that they would see less of the poor results searches. So we knew that those were going to decrease, but we didn't anticipate seeing that spike in revenue right away. So that was a really, really fun result to see. And I can't wait to get some numbers from them specifically of like, what are we going to next? What's our next goal?
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Been fun.
Very cool.
Megan, you mentioned they had to do some A/B testing, and you guys know, as a part of this, I'm trying to just let this webinar be informative to those who are kind of just sitting on the sideline looking at all of this, saying, is this for me? Do I have a question I can bring to a Megan or a Kyle around my search results? But there's also folks who are like I don't have time for this. I've got 3 other things on top of this. So like, what kind of effort was it from the customer side? What was the lift for them?
I would say this customer spent a lot more time proving it out, where we have some other customers that, like you said, they don't have the time. So this lift can be as heavy or as light as you want it to be. and know that our Hawksearch team is also here to assist with that. So if you want some help with pulling these reports, doing this, we're more than happy to set up a proof of concept engine to actually test these results out in and make sure that, are we going down the right direction? Do we need some tweaking and some configuring of the model that we can pull our product team into to get this right? So we can make this as heavy or as light as we want to. This client specifically, they did most of this on their own. So I didn't know. They didn't include us in it. They didn't have to. They were happy to jump in and make these reports. They had a full testing Excel spreadsheet of 4 different pages of all the things they were working through and different results, and if they worked, didn't work, and all that. So they got really deep into it. And I have other customers who are just like, we know it's going to help. We know that we cannot keep up with what our customers are searching for, especially with calendars, for example, the one that we also had go live recently. Beautiful website, tons of products, tons of, I would say, an overwhelming amount of search terms that you could put in there. So how do they keep up on the merchandising side with synonyms? How do they keep up adding, different descriptions to make sure that their searches are relevant? Well, let's let AI help do that for them. Let's let this results, let the agent help interpret better what animal might be, or funny versus humorous might be, right? So letting the machine work for them. It's been really important.
And Megan, I know you had another customer that was just in the process of selecting a search vendor to help them because they had data cleanup, and I don't want to give too much away from the virtual customer summit, but can you let us know just a little bit how they picked Hawksearch and why they picked Hawksearch?
Yeah, like you said, I don't want to give too much away because that's a virtual seminar, but I'll give a little sneak peek into that. So a customer that I had the privilege of working with previously before my time at Bridgeline, I known that they had AI on their target goals of having a search vendor be able to do AI in the future. What that looked like, we weren't sure, but they had evaluated several different search platforms. And the biggest issue they had is they have great imagery, great products, great, the pictures were beautiful, but the descriptions, they not great.
So, be careful, Megan. Be careful. They could be better.
Yeah, they could be improved, right? So allowing.
We're not going to say poor. We don't want to say poor here.
Data can always be improved. I think every client will admit that their data could be better. So we're not afraid to admit that. But allowing, what we did is actually we are implementing our unified search, which pulls in the concept, the keyword, and the visual search, so that when people are typing in a query, it's actually looking at all 3 of those. It's a 3-pronged approach, which allows them to curate much better results that are more relevant and driving success, ideally, when we get them live for their customers. So that was a big one where we have great images, our product data could be improved. We don't have the time to do that. We're a lean team. How do we blend both, right? How do we get the best of both worlds? So we're letting AI, improve the data without the heavy lifting on their side, which is great.
Yeah, I think that's the key, right? If you're thinking about AI, right, you shouldn't be thinking of it as a heavy lift. I mean, if you should be able to identify your use case that you're trying to solve and talk, to our team about the fact that this is actually going to help, right? I mean, of course, there's going to be some lift, but that's the way I'm seeing it as I watch you guys engage with our customers is, yeah, it's hard. It's of course it's hard to add a new project to your list, right? Of course it is.
Well, their plates are already full, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's plate's so full. And
but once you engage with it, you notice that like this is actually going to take work off of your plate. You mentioned a couple great examples of like, it's going to let you understand the synonyms or fix poor results, that you would have to go in and figure out and probably spend hours doing.
Exactly. Yep. And that, Jeremy, kind of gets into my last point of you can do all you can by trying to read your client's mind. And you could try to fill out every synonym, every acronym, everything possible, and you can't do it. It's physically impossible. So ask them instead, let's be smart about it. Use AI to your advantage. And then also kind of be creative with it. There's so many different avenues that we can go. And I know Kyle's going to talk about a couple of different ways there, and John, maybe you'll talk about this one, but we have another client who's actually we're working on a conversational search proof of concept where we're engaging with these users in a way that's asking them questions, helping them be better users of the search experience. So it's really exciting times, and I can't wait to see what our clients continue to execute with.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, great. That's a great segue. Kyle, I cut you off, so I wasn't sure if you were going to say something, but let's jump to you next and talk about that second big topic.
Absolutely. So in general, the reason this section is actually one of my favorites is because we're literally expanding Hawksearch functionality way beyond just the core of what we consider to be search. Both of our B2B and B2C customers are highly engaged with this new functionality. And John, I apologize in advance. I think the CSD team has been driving you a little bit crazy with POCs. The reason for that is everyone's just very excited, though.
Sorry, not sorry, John.
Sorry, not that sorry, actually.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
But there are three main sort of overarching reasons why smart response, which kind of includes our smart summary and conversational search, why it's really important for them. One is for assisted purchase decisions. Two is for customer stickiness, just in general. And the third and final one is time to checkout. So there are really important details with how your users are interacting with your site in general. Our customers know better how their users are interacting. So working alongside them and improving the entire process is really, really powerful, and improving the entire experience in general. One example I like to give is my wife. She uses ChatGPT every day. She might actually be listening to me right now, but she named her agent Eco. They talk all the time. It provides a guided experience to her and knows relevant information and provides correct feedback to her. Our Hawksearch tools are similar, with the added benefit that we really know your product data as well. So I'll cover the three features sort of high level, and we're interacting with our customers a lot right now on these features, but I'll try to give sort of the highest level, which ones are the best use cases so far. But Smart Summary. So April is going to be a huge month for launching PDF searching for our B2B customers. Every customer use case is quite unique so far, I would say. The important thing is our responses can be tailored. And one thing I really like to think about when I put myself in our customer's shoes is if you think of like a B2B e-commerce site and how the users go to that site, sometimes just to do information gathering. This becomes really relevant because we can literally dig into a PDF and return important information that a customer might be looking for without them having to actually look at a PDF, which is massive. So that
Kyle,
kind of
I want to interrupt you for a quick second. We actually have a couple of customers I will be beginning a proof of concept with in a similar use case where they use Hawksearch in a different way, where they don't have products to buy per se on their website, but it's more manual based or insurance focused. So they need to look for terms, terminology, responses, legalese, right? But being able to have a smart response that can allow them to actually pinpoint exactly what chapter, what page this is on, that's going to be a game changer for them. So we're really excited about getting that moving.
Totally. It can apply to really anything. We've been working, obviously, Megan, a lot with our B2B customers on this PDF searching, but it really can spread across like anything. Any type of information that you can send to Hawksearch, we can find it and return it in the smart response bar, essentially. Smart conversation.
Sorry to jump in here. Just to be clear for the audience, I mean, when you say populate data from a PDF, give everybody the sense that, I mean, of course we're indexing your product data, but this is expanding on that. Just give everybody a sense of what that means for us to be able to basically expand, the index with this information.
Yep. So natively, I mean, some of our customers, the one we were talking to recently, John, they're already sending us PDF data. We just weren't scraping the contents of that PDF before. So we know like the title or who published the PDF. We know like the simple data, but now we're literally scraping all the information inside the PDF and then presenting that outside of the PDF in the search experience itself. This also can be true for anything else that you can send to Hawksearch. If you're not sending PDFs specifically, but you wanted to include something else from somewhere else, you can send that to Hawksearch. We can scrape it and then return the most important information instantly in our smart response.
Kyle, can you also explain, does that show the product it's from or the PDF specifically it's from? It doesn't just answer it, correct? It shows the actual item.
Yeah, so it'll answer the question if a user makes a question or asks a question. It'll answer the question, but more importantly, yes, it'll pull up the PDF so you can click on it and look through it. So it does a bit of both, which is amazing. The next one is Smart Conversations, and really Smart Conversations is an extension to the Smart Summary or the Smart Response itself, because instead of us returning the products and giving a single answer back, you can actually interact with an agent and ask more or deeper questions about what's in that PDF, or maybe you want to verify something else, so you can actually have an interaction back and forth. So it's really just one extra step there. And the reason I like to emphasize this one a little bit is because the user experience can really be anything you want. Megan, you'd mentioned that customer that we're essentially going through a pretty big process right now of getting all their FAQ information or help desk information so that we can have constant interactions with users. And I think that's really powerful because the user experience doesn't need to just be inside the search bar. It can really be layered in anywhere on the site. And I think that's pretty powerful. And that's actually why I kind of went back and mentioned that Hawksearch is really expanding even outside of just core search functionality now.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm at Shop Talk in Las Vegas right now, as you guys know, and somebody was asking me about all the GenAI capabilities of the experience, and they said, well, and I ended on conversational, right?
Yeah.
And they said, well, what's after conversational? I said, well, right now I'm not sure anything, because conversational is the culmination, right? You could drive any experience into it, right? You can drive guided selling experience into it, a threaded conversation. So, and I think that's why the Gartners and Forresters are so big on conversational search right now, is because it is kind of the top of the experience. It's the best experience that you get off of it.
Well, and you know how comfortable everyone is talking to like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, that everyone's got. I have them on my phone too. I use them. I use that instead of Google at this point. So talking to an agent is going to be very familiar to shoppers coming soon.
Yeah. And expected, right?
Yeah.
Yep. The final one is smart facets. So our AI tools can literally pre-select facets for customers. Think of if a customer pinpoints or puts something into their search that's quite specific, we can catch that and then just pre-select the facet when we return the response. And really, this is just saving a step for the customer. They don't have to click again. And we can understand the concept behind the search and then start pre-selecting facets for them. And it's pretty powerful stuff. And like I said, it just increases that time to checkout.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say these in general, these features are going to be massive for our customers in 2025. And John, I appreciate how closely you and I get to work alongside these customers. Megan, you too. They're all super excited about these features. Like I said, April's going to be a big month for launching a lot of these customers.
Yeah.
And we're already seeing some incredible results leveraging these tools.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's speaking of John, let's give him the floor to talk about automation. A little bit of a kind of like a little bit of a shift here, right? Because we've been talking about the search experience itself. We still are here, but it's a little different because agents adds such a different dimension here.
Yeah, and you have the merchandiser side, which I'm going to talk about, the people who use Hawksearch. Megan, you said it all. We don't have the time. I know I should go through this list. You guys have this nice report, but we don't have the time, et cetera. I mean, there's always going to be some manual processes. And Kyle, that was a great example that you were saying, which is, can't the visitor, turn on the facets? Like they can, but why don't we turn it on for them? It's an automation kind of story, not a huge time saving, but it does save some time. But let's shift back, Jeremy, as you were just saying. And thanks for highlighting, Jeremy, that I've been doing this for years. So thanks. Appreciate that. But I have. And a lot of times, I'm sure we've all been through this. We say, boy, if I had a nickel for every time I wrote a script that would do something, right? So like it saves time. And we know that. And that's kind of just put under the category of logic. So someone wrote a script. Oh, wow, that saves a lot of time and we love it. And that's a world that we're kind of familiar with. The next thing that will often come up, not always, but often, is the business, the merchandiser in our world would say, oh, I love the script. You are saving me a lot of time, but can I interact with it a little bit more? Like, you have the script do this thing 3 times. I needed to do it sometimes 2 times or sometimes 4 times. Or when you're done and you send the message, can you put this in the message or whatever it may be? So think of like a simple form, and you kind of fill out a couple of things. I want you to do it 4 times and I want you to send it to Kyle or to Megan or something like that. And that's cool. And that is also helpful. And that does also save some time. I'm sure we've also all been in this situation where, whether it's from a script or otherwise, you got a message that said, hello, first, $ first name. And it was because, you didn't pass in the name of the person correctly or whatever it may be. And we lived in that world for quite some time. But imagine a world that fundamentally is still doing that script. So you did it. The logic did it for me, but it understands the prompt. You could just tell it literally by typing it, or if it's voice activated, just say, I want you to do it 3 times. I want you to do it 4 times. That kind of thing. My God, from a developer standpoint, so much flexibility that is so powerful. And certainly from the merchandiser or the business person's point of view, is like, wow, I can talk to your script. I mean, this is pretty cool. And then on the output, I was joking about the $ first name or whatever that may be. But imagine, like, it knows how to talk. Like, it'll give the answer and kind of, you could say, like, do it in a very concise way, or do it in kind of a long form, or be very technical, or be very professional or very business-like, this idea of prompts. So some of the logic is the same, but you have so much around it. And the final part there, Megan, you were saying that script, like, look at all these queries. And like, if I try this, what does it look like? And if I try it like this, what does it look like? Even if I wrote a script before all of the AI capabilities, how does it know if that's a good or better result? But an LLM does. At least would give you a good idea. If you could say, hey, is this a good result, for this long search? And say, yeah, I give it, this, scoring grade. You would explain to it how to grade the results. So you get the benefits, quote unquote, of a script, but the logic within it can understand, the power of an LLM, like understand a search result and say, well, if I searched for this and I gave you back this result, would you say that's a good result? And then that's what you could use in that same analysis, Megan, that you had in that spreadsheet would be driven by the LLM. Yeah, someone would confirm it, kind of look through it, but it takes care of a lot of the grunt work. And that's essentially what's going on. So what we've been focusing a lot of time on is, number one, how can I expose the prompt to not be within that script or that code that I was just talking about? It's exposed in another tool called E360, where it's like, I want to change the prompt or the way it communicates or what have you. The second thing is, the more data we can get, the better. So the data that you were talking about, Megan, was one of those reports like, oh, if I can get access to more of that activity tracking information, et cetera, then I can run more automation. So we've been spending a lot of time on a new advanced analytics framework. And then maybe the final thing to highlight is, here's the good news. Everything that users do in Hawksearch, when you're a merchandiser and you're kind of making updates and changes and everything else, uses our dashboard API. So if the person who goes through what the automation suggests, like, hey, make these changes and that will improve these results, and someone says, yeah, that's a great idea, click approve, then it just uses the dashboard API, of course, with your authentication because you approved it, et cetera, and then makes those changes. So we're spending a lot of time in the back end to support these processes. And then Megan and Kyle, while working with customers, have a lot of flexibility in executing this.
That's going to be a game changer, John. I know just from working with clients directly, it's like you said, it's the time constraint. We have too much to do, too little time. We want to continue improving the relevancy and tuning the engine, but I don't have 5 minutes to do it.
Exactly.
So if I have a tool that can do it for me based on the recommendations that it's taken from live customers. Let's do it. Let's make our merchandisers' lives easier.
There you go. That's
and as we launch more and more customers, I mean, the process just becomes easier and better. And it's, I think almost week over week, we can see the difference. I'm sure you think the same thing, John and Megan, but every single week, these results get better. Everything improves for the customers, and the time to market is just constantly improving.
Yeah. Well, with that, guys, we're at time. But for everybody here, I mean, obviously you can see the excitement. I mean, this is truly an exciting time right now. And as you can see, we are so excited to be working with our customers on this stuff. The news I wanted to share is if you go to our website, hawksearch.com, the next step here in this webinar series is what we call Insight 25. And it's our virtual summit on April 24th. And you can see some of our partners and our customers who will be speaking. So for us, we now get to ramp up and work with our customers to actually present with them so that you can hear from them directly, like Burmax, HP, Ivystone. And you're going to be hear directly from them about their experience, about how did they think about AI, how did they choose to run with it, all the way into what did the A/B testing look like to launch it, and of course, ultimately, what are the results that they're seeing? So with that, guys, thanks so much for joining me on our last webinar of our series. And
thank you, Jeremy, for all these webinars. It's been great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And listen to our customers, not us. So join the customer summit. That's for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see everybody at the summit.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.